Hello guys, it's Mazi again and I'm here to do my weekly review. All right, let's start with gold. Let's start with gold. So currently looking at my chart, this is the weekly time frame and honestly not seeing anything on the weekly time frame. Based on how I trade, I always make sure I start my analysis from the higher time frame, right? So as to break price down to the lower time frame and also to know the time frame that is sponsoring price. So I know the particular time frame to focus on instead of just picking random zones. I know the particular time frame that is sponsoring price and the areas I'm supposed to focus on. It helps me to streamline my focus. All right. So based on what I'm seeing here, there's nothing on the weekly, so I'll have to go down to the daily. So I'll have to go down to the daily. And looking at this chart, it is obvious that daily is what is sponsoring price based on how I trade. And first move happened that daily came into this is my daily structure. This is my current daily structure, and this is the previous daily structure. So price came into the daily internal liquidity point and gave a very nice reaction to the upside, which failed, and it came back, invalidated it. Now came to the extreme, swept the extreme order block or swept the extreme of the daily low, still gave a nice rejection to the upside and it closed a hammer or a pin bar. So after that, we had an engulfing, price moved to the upside, came back, retested that pin bar and gave this short move. I was actually on this buy, but I noticed something different based on something that occurred severally when I was deep reading. So I noticed if a particular zone or a particular range is very short, right? Price most times will come to the midpoint, will balance it, or will stretch it out a bit. So what I'm saying is, if somebody should take a buy, let's say somebody wants to take a long-term trade here, takes a buy at this point, and TP at all-time high, and SL at this low, you see that this is like a 2 hour trade, which is not making sense, according to what I've observed. So most times, price will want to rebalance it by coming to this midpoint, right, to stretch it. So from this midpoint is where I am expecting gold to buy from. This midpoint, which is around 4,315. So that's the exact price I am buying gold from. But for now, I am selling gold till we get to that 4,315. So let's go to M15. So for me now, I'll just be trading gold on M15. Yeah, this was a beautiful trade. I woke up by 11 and I missed this trade. I missed this trade at market open. Yeah, though because I was a bit greedy, I wanted 6 arrow instead of 4 arrow that the market was giving. Market was giving 4 arrow. I marked this zone out, gave a very nice tap and dropped. This would have been a TP, 4 arrow TP, but it's fine. The week is still young, week is still fresh. So we'll go again. So for now, this is now my current M15 structure. So this is now my current M15 structure. So where else am I expecting gold to come back to? Let me remove this. So my expectation on gold now should be okay. So I should be expecting a pullback into this zone. So a pullback into this zone, the midpoint of this zone, this red zone, for a continuation to the downside. So that's what I'll be expecting from gold. Pull back to this zone, then a continuation to the downside. But guys, before we dive before we move to the next pair, I would like to before we move to the next pair, I would like to introduce you guys to the firm I trade with, one of the best firm out there, one of the best firm that have the fastest payout verified by Deloitte. And trust me guys, there's no payout denial, also verified by Deloitte. And I guess you know the firm I'm talking about already, and it's Hola Prime. Yes, Hola Prime, one of the fastest growing firm out there, regulated. Now, why do I say Hola Prime is regulated? Because they now have a broker. And for you to operate a broker, you must have regulations. So for a firm that has a broker, you should know that they will not want to mess up their firm, because if they do, it is going to mess up their broker and their license might be seized, or their license will be seized. So with that alone, they are going to make sure they do their best to pay their traders. And Hola Prime does not have strenuous rules. Weekend holding is allowed. They are in over 175 countries, including the US. And also, they offer futures. If you want to trade futures, of course, you can trade. If you want to use their broker, which is Hola Prime Market, you can also what? Use their broker. Very awesome broker. And also, they allow weekend holdings. News trading is allowed. No consistency rule. Very beautiful firm. Just what? Trade conservatively, request for your payout, and your payout is going to drop in your wallet in less than 1 hour. You can verify videos online where they did live interviews and they credited traders live. Huge sum of money, 20K, 30K, 14K, 5K, different amounts. And these guys received their money in less than 1 hour. Beautiful. So the firm is really trying. Use Hola Prime. You will not regret it. And don't forget, use Mazi FX for a 30% discount. Mazi FX, right? MAZIFX, right? MAZIFX. That's the code for a 30% discount. So click the link below this video to sign up, or go to my profile, click the link on my profile to sign up for Hola Prime, and don't forget to use Mazi FX for a 30% discount. That is MAZI FX for a 30% discount. All right, let's move to the next pair. And then the next pair is BTC. The next pair is BTC. So what do we have on BTC? So for BTC, right, this is my current weekly structure, which BTC has invalidated with a body close. So for now, I am bearish, long-term bearish on BTC, but short-term bullish on BTC. So my expectation now is for BTC to what? Calm down, read this weekly, this red candle, read the low of this candle, then we start buying till we get to this point before I start looking for sales. So for now, I am permitted to go to 4 hours time frame, but first let me mark the low of last week candle. That is where I am expecting my sales to start from. My sales to start. Let me mark that low. Let me mark that low. Let me mark the low of the weekly last week candle. Okay, there you go. So I checked the 4 hours. All right, so looking at the 4 hours. Okay, looking at the 4 hours. So I guess this is the low of last week candle. Perfect. So I'm expecting price to drop into this zone, then I start looking for buys. I start looking for buys till this point. I start looking for buys. And now looking at this is my current 4 hour structure, and this is the previous 4 hour structure. So for me personally, when I get a change of character, I don't just move immediately. I wait for price to tap the previous structure of that particular time frame, and if it does not hold, then I know that change of character have kicked in. Because most times price will do this: create a high, higher high, higher high, sweep this first high, right, to what? Make a lot of traders feel like character have changed or trend have changed, but trend will not change. What price just wants to do is just come into this other low, right? Come into this other low and continue the buy movement, right? And also this gives the market an opportunity to create a structure for the higher time frame. So that is why market does this particular thing based on my observation. So that is what I'm looking at here. This is the previous structure, so I'm expecting this is the current structure, and this is the previous structure. So I'm expecting BTC to tap into this zone, then we get a possible buy to the upside. So that's my outlook for BTC. So let's check GU. Let's check GU. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Let's go to the weekly time frame. So as for GU has been, overall GU is bearish. Overall GU is bearish, but currently looking at GU now, short term GU is bullish. Now why do I say so? Based on my belief. It's not a fact, because we all trade belief and not fact. No fact, because if we trade fact, we shouldn't be taking losses in the market. It's all belief. We all trade what we see, so we all trade what we believe. And when our belief is wrong, we pay for it with a loss. So that's stop loss. Then when our belief is right, we make money. That's just basic trading for you. So Based on my belief, I am seeing that okay, overall this is bearish. But my problem is we are not having a counter trend, internal counter trend on the weekly, which is showing bullish. So what I will do is I will stick with the immediate structure, which is the bullish structure. So that is why I am actually willing to buy GU even when GU is clearly showing he wants to sell. So I'll stick with the current structure, which is the buy structure. And based on my observation, or what I've observed for a very long time, yeah, most times when price wants to make a new structure, create a new structure and fails to close the body, rather a wick, sweeps with a wick, then rejects inside, it will come back to the other block that sponsored the whole move and move to the upside for a cleaner structure break, which is what happened there. You can see a wick wicked it, did not close the body, came back to the other block that sponsored price and moves to the upside. Now, respecting this zone, normally it's supposed to clear everything and move to the upside, but the respect is given the zone is because this rejection happened here, and this was the high of a particular strong zone, this demand zone. This is the highest point, and this looked like it swept liquidity off this high. So there has to be a reaction, which is what we are having here. So what are my expectations for GU currently is for GU to drop, sweep either this low or this, then we get a move to the upside, or maybe come to this point, then we get a continuation to the upside. When we get to this point, we'll now decide if price will go lower or go higher. So that's my outlook for GBP USD. But for now, I am permitted to what sell till we get to the nearest low. The nearest low, come on, which is this low here. So I'm permitted to enter sales. And looking at this, I have a very beautiful structure cooking up for me on M15. This is it. So I'm waiting for a pullback to this zone so I can take my sales. All right, let's check US 30. US 30, I'm equally bearish, short term bearish, long term bullish. So looking at the weekly structure swept the low of the weekly structure and did an engulfing to the upside. So weekly now is very much bullish, but the daily changed character. So the daily is bearish from this point. Daily is bearish, weekly is bullish, and I will always stick with the higher time frame over the smaller time frame. So for me, I'm still very much bullish. I'm just waiting for what daily to just drop to a zone here, and we'll continue buying. So let's check 4 hours for better understanding. All right, so looking at 4 hours, this is my last 4-hour structure, H4 structure, and this is supposed to be the next H4 structure which failed. Same thing it did, wicked the high, came back into the other. You can see this candle, this red candle, the other block, very long, tapped the other block that engineered this move, or that's in charge of this whole move to the upside, and did what? Gave us a new high, but still failed to give us a body close. So what price will most likely do is take this low and also take this low, come into this zone, then we get our buy continuation till we finish this weekly high, or maybe continue buying. So that's my expectation for US 30. So let's check GJ. Beautiful pair, very beautiful pair. So same thing, right? Even if you don't learn something from this video, learn this thing I'm showing you guys. It is an observation I made from the trading price, right? Whenever price fails to what, give a new structure and it wicks the high instead of a body close. If it turns back, it is coming to the other block that originated that move. Same expectation here. You can see dropping down. Where am I expecting GJ to drop to? This zone, either this place or the midpoint, but I prefer the midpoint. Then we move to the upside. So that is my expectation for GJ. So with this, I am permitted to sell till we get to this point, then I start looking for buys. So we'll go to M15. H4, there's nothing. Let's check H4. H4 has nothing promising on H4, so we can go to M15. And looking at M15, I can see a very beautiful structure trade, M15 trade cooking up here. Expectation is for a pullback to this zone, maybe the midpoint or this zone, then we short it till we get to this low. get this low, or I think this low will be better. Not even this. This low will be perfect. Perfect. This low will be more perfect. So this is where I'm expecting it to get to. Any pullback I get, I short till exit at this point. So GJ, nothing beautiful, almost same thing as, sorry, EJ, nothing beautiful, almost same thing as GJ. That's Euro JPY. Nothing. But let's just look, let's just glance through. So same thing, same logic. Try to create a new structure a week, failed, came into the zone that engineered the whole move, and this is what we have now. And the only reason why I would believe that euro will want to start buying is because euro has a 4-hour structure. You can see structure it created in 4 hours. So because of this alone, UJ might just drop to this midpoint and continue buying to the upside, or drop to this external point and continue buying to the upside. I guess this is why it's stalling. This is why it is stalling, because it's already created a 4 hours structure. It's already created a 4-hour structure. But anyways, this is not a good trade for me. I will not trade it. I will not. I'd rather wait for GBP JPY because it is more clearer for me. So last one should be Eurocard. So as for Eurocard, looking at the monthly time frame, so this is my last monthly time frame structure, a structure here, and price tried to create a new one, failed with a week. Same thing, came back around the zone that sponsored the whole move, then tried to make a new high, failed. Tried to make a new high, then failed also with a week. Came back, and now it swept all this, swept this zone, swept this low, this low, this low. Now came into the zone that gave a proper break of structure, and we now have what, a buy. So this buy bought all the way to this point, gave us a proper break of structure. So currently now for Eurocard, weekly is what is sponsoring price. Weekly is sponsoring price, and based on what I know, based on what I've observed, I'm expecting weekly to drop till this point. Weekly to drop till this point. Either this black point, the midpoint, or into this other zone, or maybe this extreme zone before we continue our buys. So for now, I am bearish on Eurocard. So monthly works with daily, so we'll move to daily to see what we have here. And looking at daily structure, you can see my change of character, daily change of character, break of structure. Then this is the current daily break of structure. Then this will now be the previous daily break of structure. Previous daily BS, yeah. So previous daily break of structure, current daily break of structure. This is internal liquidity point, or you can call it the inducement point, which price swept, gave a reaction, and from what I'm seeing, it is selling to this point, and the external point is here. Then the main region is still this point here. So but for now, we target the nearest zone, which is here. This is the nearest low. So we'll go to 4 hours. Now looking at 4 hours, this is the current 4 hours structure. This is the previous 4 hours structure. Now same thing I explained, same logic. Price will most times do this high, higher high, higher high, sweep this low, coming to this point, and continue to the upside. So same thing, same logic. What happened? Price did a change of character here. A lot of traders will feel like, oh, character have changed, let's start buying. And what happened? Price comes into the previous structure and boom, you can see the rejection. So those who are buying at this point are losing profit till we get to this point and everybody is out. Buyers are out and market will switch. And we now have what, a new 4 hours change of character. So for that, I now know that okay, Eurocard is dropping, so Eurocard is selling based on my observation and based on my belief. So with that, I am permitted to take trades on M15. And looking at M15 is giving me a very beautiful structure, So yeah, so that's about my weekly outlook. But before I leave, guys, make sure you register with Hola Prime by clicking the link below this video or clicking the link in my profile. And make sure you use MazEFX to enjoy a 30% discount on any account of your choice on Hola Prime. Could be the Hola Prime Futures or the CFD. Enjoy a 30% discount. And Hola Prime is in 175 or in more than 175 countries, including the US. See you guys in my next video. Bye guys.